Hello everyone, I am Left, and today I've got for you guys a video about win conditions. What is a win condition, you might ask? Win condition is a widely used term in the realm of esports, and it basically just means a condition that you have to fill for you to win the game. They come in all shapes and sizes, and I think a good understanding of them would be really helpful to you for climbing the ranks and just understanding Vainglory in general. So in this video, I'm going to go over a lot of different things about win conditions, how you can spot them in the middle of a game, before you even starts, and after you play, and while you are evaluating your own play. So we're going to be looking at some of my gameplay today. We're going to be looking at some pro gameplay today from the Vainglory 8. And we're just going to be generally talking a lot about win conditions and how you can use them to help you understand the game of Vainglory better and thus climb the ranked ladder. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So first, to start off, I want to talk about some really common win conditions that you'll find in your games, whether you are in Tier 6 solo queue or Tier 10 or the Vainglory 8. Probably the most common one out there is killing a singular carry as a win condition. This will show itself whenever you see an enemy playing a Protect the X hero comp, whether it's a Protect the Celeste, Protect the Scarf, Protect the Vox, Protect the Baron, Protect the Gwen. It's usually a weapon carry. And it's usually a late game scaling weapon carry, a utility glaive, and a roamer. So the opening clip there where I was playing Alpha, the Termination Protocol double kill, was me playing against a Protect the Gwen comp. The other team was running Arden, Gwen, and Utility Glaive, so obviously my win condition there, and we did fulfill the win condition, was to kill the Gwen in each fight and Atlas Pauldron her. Another win condition would be to stop a certain enemy from reaching your carry. Say you're playing support and you're playing Arden. You have a weapon power Vox on your team, and the enemy team has a weapon Blackfeather. Now, obviously, that enemy Blackfeather is going to be doing all he can to cause your Vox trouble. He's going to be jumping onto him, Atlas Pauldroning him, generally just trying to kill him. Now, your win condition as Arden is going to be to stop that Blackfeather from hurting and killing your Vox. Now, if you have, say, a utility Glaive on your team, then that win condition is shared between you and Glaive. But if you have, like, a Taka, then it is just your win condition to fulfill because you are the protector. So you can do that using your abilities, using Atlas Pauldron, using Shiver Steel, and all sorts of stuff like that. So that would be a win condition that you would fulfill as a roamer or a utility player. Lastly, this one probably isn't as applicable to most of you, but it's not allowing the enemy a certain pick. Some players are so godly on certain heroes that you just cannot let them have that hero, or else you will lose. This is totally unapplicable to most of you because you don't know the team that you're playing against when you're playing in ranked queue. But say that you're on a challenger team, you're in the Vainglory 8, maybe. I doubt any of those guys watch my videos, or say you're even playing in a guild tournament and you know who you're facing. So you don't allow the enemy a certain pick, and you've instantly got a better chance of winning. Say, like, starting all over on Ringo, or banning Petal against Status Bakes, because he literally only plays Petal. Just saying, it kind of makes me mad because he's such an amazing Glaive that he only plays Petal, but that's another topic for a different day. So those are some really common win conditions. Now let's talk more about the nuance of how win conditions change and how you can spot them in game. So win conditions are always different based on the enemy you face. It always depends, no matter what. There's no two games that have the exact same win condition unless you're playing against the exact same comp and the exact same people. So, like, if you're facing TSM, your win condition would be to let it get past 10 minutes. Or if you were in Tier 6 solo queue and the enemy team was playing Baron, Arden, Utility Glaive, your win condition is to kill Baron. And you're also on a timer, which is another win condition. You need to not let it get past like 17, 18 minutes. You gotta shut down the Baron early and make sure he doesn't get to late game, or else you will lose. So, I mean, win conditions, they change all the time in the game, in the middle of the game. Like, say that you're playing Weapon Power Vox, and you're getting to that big late game spike, and you're like, alright, I've or you're like, alright, I've made it through the early game, I've made it through the mid game, I have my items, now my win condition is fulfilled. All I have to do is play out my mechanics. And then you realize that the enemy team has just bought 3 Atlas Pauldrons. Now you have another win condition, and it's to block those Atlas Pauldrons or dodge them because you only get 1 reflex block. So win conditions evolve constantly during the game and even before the game too, as draft happens. It's your job to be able to spot those win conditions as they happen or before they happen during the draft. A good mastery of being able to see and complete win conditions will lead to you climbing up the ranks, and even if you don't climb up the ranks, you will be learning the game more, and that will set you up to climb up the ranks later, like I did when I started playing. So, another example would be, say the enemy team picks Kashka Fortress Ringo. You know, the 1.6 like AIDS comp from 2015. Your win condition now is to survive the first 10 minutes. And if you can survive the first 10 minutes without dying more than a couple times, then basically you win. Rejoice for the Kashka nerfs coming in 2.4, and rejoice for the Lyra nerfs coming in 2.4. I do like Lyra, but she was too strong. She was always a must pick. Her and Adagio both getting nerfed. I think it's great that they're bringing the healers back in line. But I'm definitely going off a tangent here, but Stormcrown being nerfed, holy cow, it's the best nerf that any of us could have asked for. Like, Stormcrown got way too much value for how much it cost. You're like, I'm playing a Crystal hero, screw Crystal Power, I'm just gonna buy Stormcrown because it's cheap and overpowered. So, Stormcrown being nerfed, I love. So, I totally went off on a tangent there, I'm sorry for that, but, conclusion, you got to be able to spot win conditions as the game happens because they are constantly evolving. Like I said, maybe you've survived the early game as Vox, but then you see the enemy, oh, now they've got a lot of Atlas Pauldrons, now I have a new win condition, and things like that. So, or maybe you're a roamer and you don't worry about Atlas Pauldron, but hey, the enemy just bought a Null Wave Gauntlet, so you need to worry about blocking that. That's your new win condition. So, now that we are done with this long segment, let's look at some pro games from the Vainglory 8. So in this game between G2 Esports and SK Gaming in the EU Vainglory 8, I'm just going to tell you right now that SK's win condition is to kill the Celeste. If they don't kill the Celeste, they're going to lose the game. So that is mostly Tyra's job, and Kavalifar's job is to not get killed. He just needs to stack up his breaking point, and, wait, he doesn't have a breaking point yet, I'm an idiot, but Kavalifar just needs to not die, he needs to get to late game, but Tyra's job is to kill the Celeste, and they are not going to be able to kill the Celeste here because of Kina. I'm just going to call him Kina because that's how my American accent pronounces it. He is going to get a nice punt onto Kavalifar, and that is going to destroy Kavalifar's win condition of killing the Celeste and surviving. Now, obviously, Tyraz took a lot of damage from those supernovas, and he is going to go down too. Abilities have been burned, activatable items have been burned, and the Celeste is only at half health. So obviously, SK failed to complete their win condition here, and it's even though the Crystal Miner is helping them out, this is going to result in a lost fight for them just because they were not able to get enough damage onto the Celeste. All the healing is down, they've already used their fountain, like I said, everything's used. Celeste is just going to make short work of them, and Hundor on the Celeste, is going to just destroy. So SK did not complete their win condition here, and that's why they lost the fight. Next, let's look at a time where SK does fulfill their win condition and win a fight. Now, I just really want to pause it right here because, holy cow, Afterburn has been blown, Githian Wall has been blown, and where did that put Tyraz? Exactly where he started. What a complete waste of crowd control that was from G2. So, Celeste is basically as good as dead now, it's just up to SK to execute mechanically and kill Hundor. So they are going to win this fight because of the waste of crowd control. It was baited out by Tyraz there, and SK is going to be able to complete their win condition, landing a silence and a snare onto the Celeste. Fountain is going to, or the healing is going to come out, but she's not going to survive. And even look at Kavalifar, he has survived this whole thing. The Celeste is dead. Kina he doesn't have his afterburn, And Dark Potato, he doesn't really do much, to be honest. All he has is a Tension Bow and a Stormguard banner. He's playing this like weird utility lance build, and like I said, this is a Protect the Celeste comp. The Celeste has died, therefore SK has outright won this fight. They've completed their win condition of killing the Celeste, and that's all they needed to do. So, as it unpauses here, just going to see what happens, and they are going to end up getting this ace eventually. So, SK completed their win condition and won the fight. Okay, so the next clip is between teams TSM and Cloud9, and the win condition here is for Cloud9 to isolate and kill Von C on the Crystal Power Kestrel. But they cannot, and the reason why is because Best Chuck and A encroached forward and stopped the Gwen from getting any follow-up on the Crystal Power Kestrel. Now, the reason why the Crystal Power Kestrel is the win condition for Cloud9 is because if they don't kill him, he will be able to follow up and execute on any kills that would otherwise be unreachable to other heroes, as he's about to do to Old School right here. As I put the little meme on the screen there, so the encroachment onto Old School by Best Chuck NA opened up Von C to, well, not die, and it denied Cloud9 from doing their win condition. As it unpauses here, we're going to see Von C go all the way around the back in camo and kill Old School, and I really apologize if you can hear the really loud lawn equipment in the background. My recording has been put into jeopardy, and I've had to go to some parking lot near my house and record this in my car, so I hope we can power through this, and I will press on and keep recording, even though I have to have my car on in the heat, and my car off in the heat, and I'm burning alive, but I need to record this for you guys. So next clip. So next is another fight between TSM and Cloud9, and what we're going to see right here is a very good sleep from I Love Joseph, but it's not going to mean anything, even though Best Chuck is going to die. He took Gabe Bizzle with him, and Gabe Bizzle's entire purpose was to block Von C's glimmer shots from hitting his carries. Now that Von C is still alive and on full health, and the blocking mechanism of the Finn is dead, Cloud9 has once again failed to complete their win condition, and it's going to cost them dearly here, because both of their carries are going to become nothing but glimmer shot sponges for Kestrel. In the case of I Love Joseph, he's going to become a one-shot, one-kill sponge for Kestrel, and that is what happens when you leave the Crystal Kestrel alone and don't kill her when you need to be blocking with the Finn. It's going to be an ace for TSM, and I think a Kraken too. So let's conclude here. I want to talk again about what I said before. Win conditions are constantly evolving. Some of them are always popping up in the middle of the game. Some of them you know from the beginning and they don't change. Like killing the singular carry, or not letting the enemy carry get to your carry as a support, or just denying a certain pick in a tournament format. And win conditions, I hope I've helped you be able to spot them out better in the game. Say you're playing a roamer. I want to do that a little bit more here. If you're playing a roamer, you want to look at what the threats are on the enemy team to your carries. If the threat comes from the other roamer, like say a Catherine Blast Tremor onto your mage, then you're going to want to invest in a Crucible, because blocking that is now a win condition. Or the same thing with a Finn's Hook. You want to block that because it's a win condition. Or say the enemy is playing an aggressive team with a Koshka, but you're playing a more late game oriented team with a Vox. You're playing Lance. Your win condition is to get good Githian walls onto the Koshka, because if you don't, your Vox will die and you'll lose the game. So win conditions, they're always evolving. Like I keep saying over and over, they're always evolving. They always evolve. I keep saying that so much. It's my bad, really. But you have to always be able to see the win conditions as they come and persist on the ones that you know are going to be there the whole game. It's a complicated concept, but I have faith that you guys can understand it and learn from it and climb the ranked ladder with it. Yeah, so that's going to be it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something useful. If you feel like I didn't explain this well enough and you want to comment down below and ask me another question, I will follow up and answer that for you. So that's going to be it, guys. I'll see you all in the next video.